Hello and welcome to this week's first video of Games Nearly Every Week. And today I would like to generate 5 topics that I choose one topic from in order to make a game this week. And so I'm going to use an online tool. You can find it here if you want, ratespeeches.com. And I'm just going to generate 5 topics right now. And okay. So here are the topics. The first one is learning second language. It's gonna be a tough one. The second one is movies. Okay, I can think of something there. Self-assessment. Okay, and saving. Okay, that seems fine. And the last one is deafness. Okay, well, let's have a look at those topics one by one. I think learning second language is a very hard topic to make a game from. I mean, well, you could make a game, I'm gonna write it down here, where the player learns a second language, of course. Or what if you make a game where you're a kid and everything is new. As a kid, everything is new, and several items or people in the world are images instead of the actual thing, and you have or words instead of the actual thing. And for example, if you're in a classroom, the desk, your normal pupil's desk, the student's desk, wouldn't be a desk, but it would be the word for desk in a certain language. That would be interesting, I guess. I'm not sure about this one though. Okay, let's have a look at the second one. Ideas. Movies. I'm generally fond of movies. I really like artsy-fartsy movies. And I'm not sure, I've seen a really nice one recently called Vivre sa vie from Godard. And I think if I would make a game for movies, I would include weird shots, like weird camera angles. So it would be a game that highlights several things that are normally typical for movies instead of games. So weird camera angles or highly stylized camera angles. Something like this. Maybe a game where you actually follow a cast or several actors making a movie, like supporting the cast of a movie, something like this. I can imagine like mini games where you have to pick up coffee for the actors or something like that. I'm not sure. About self-assessment, I'm actually not sure what it means. I think assessing is thinking what it means, like estimating its value. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I think that one's gonna be yes, it is. It's estimating one's own value. It's interesting. Out of the top of my mind, I'm thinking about like how's it called? I think not Jeopardy, but there was a game. There's a typical game show in several American TV shows where people have to guess the price of something. Maybe you see like several people in a row, and you have to, or better, you as a player, you play different people, one after another, and they're maybe like defined by the items that surrounds them, and then you have to guess one's value. Like for example, you have to decide if the person you're playing at the moment is valuing himself very highly or not. Something like this would be fun. Like for example, a very shy student, young kid would value oneself very, very lowly, while maybe like a rich businessman would have a lot of self-assessment. He would think, he would be very self-confident. He would assess himself very highly. Something like this. That's a hard one as well, I think. Well, saving is, I think it might be easy, but I generally go for unconventional games if I can. So saving someone. I don't know. That's also a tough one. Of course, you could make typical mini games where you throw like a lifesaver, or where you play a lifesaver or something like this in a typical manner. But I'm not sure. I think I would go for a metaphorical way, like saving one's soul or something. But preferably not in a Catholic way. Or savings. What about saving money? That would be interesting. Like you have to cut your costs in order to save up for something. That would be interesting. Of course, you could always do mini games where with minimal input, like a mobile game where you're like a piggy bank and you have to catch coins from the top or something like this. That's always possible, I think. And of course, they're rather easy to implement, but I would prefer refraining from doing those kind of games if I can. Deafness. It's interesting that it's deafness and not like being deaf, like deaf itself. Deafness. Recently, there's a TV show I've liked, and it's called Legion. It's the new Marvel TV show, and it has one scene that I found very interesting, where the people are suddenly deaf and they have to deal with it. And it sounds more fun than it actually was, but something like this would be interesting, like a core game mechanic where you have to deafen. I'm gonna write it like this: deafen enemies in order to infiltrate something. That would be interesting. Like the only way you can interact is you're very loud, or you have to sneak somewhere, but you cannot sneak if you just wait for the enemy to pass. You have to use your deafen mechanic in order to do this. That would be interesting. I think that would be kind of cool. Other than that, deafness. Well, a game without sounds or music is generally fun because, well, it's different. I'm not sure at the moment. So I'm gonna look at the topics one by one, once again, and look at the ideas I've had. I'm not very impressed at the moment, to be honest. There are some fun ones in there, but I know it's a tough week in my opinion. So I think I'm not gonna do self-assessment. That's a hard one. So I think I'm not gonna do that one. Movies, I'm not sure. I think it's kind of too much to do. It doesn't fit the scope of 1 week. Learning second language would be something I would be interested in. I think like serious gaming is generally a fun topic and you can do fun games with it, but also it's too much for the limited time frame I have. I think I'm gonna go for saving, or actually deafness. I think I really like this mechanic where you maybe you can cast a bubble or something, or something in a cone in front of you, and then every sound in that cone is gone. That would be fun. I think putting little places. It's a 3D game. I think I'm gonna flesh this one out a little bit more. So maybe it's a 3D game, and you could put little bubbles of silence somewhere, and then you have to work with it, and maybe you have like a limited amount of bubbles. Something like this would be interesting. Well, maybe you can also have like a cool shader effect that underlines the silence. I think I'm gonna go for this one. So if you're interested, I will probably make a new video on Wednesday about mostly probably creating art, because it's gonna be a 3D game. I think it's gonna be in Blender. And on Friday there's gonna be a video about sounds, even if it's deafness. I'm probably still gonna implement some background music or sound effects for when you create the bubbles of silence. And on Saturday or Sunday, I'm gonna put a video about implementing the stuff in Unity. So I hope you got a general idea of how I approach finding ideas and topics for GNEW. And thanks for tuning in.